Hello everyone, welcome to video 9 of the playlist Patent Agent Exam 2025. Before we cover sections 12 through 21, I would like to inform you that you no longer have to worry about the new additions to the syllabus, the Designs Act 2000 and the Design Rules 2001, because WSLI has prepared a comprehensive guide to help you cover the important aspects of this act and to correlate its sections with its rules. If you want to get access to this guide, write to us at wslisppprt2023@gmail.com with the subject line "I am interested in the copy," and we will send it right to your inbox. There are a few other resources on opposition proceedings to the grant of patents and anticipation which are available on our website right now. Do check them out and save them on your phone or laptop, as they are going to be immensely helpful in your Patent Agent Exam 2025 preparation. With this, let's start with the rest of the sections of Chapter 4, where we are mainly going to discuss the examination of a patent application and the timelines within which the examiner prepares the report and the controller refers it. Along with this, we are also going to learn about the different powers that the controller exercises in respect of a patent application, such as refusing or requiring amendment of patent application, dividing the patent application, post-dating of the patent application, as well as substituent of applicants, etc. Coming to section 12, this should be read along with rule 24b(2). Now, when a request for examination has been filed by the applicant or an interested person within 48 months from the date of priority or date of filing, whichever is earlier, in Form 18, then the specification and the related documents are referred at the earliest by the controller to an examiner so that he can start making a report with respect to the following matters. A. Whether the application and the specification and related documents are in accordance with the requirements of Indian Patents Act 1970, whether there is any lawful ground of objection to the grant of the patent under this act in pursuance of the application. C. The result of investigations made under section 13, and D. Any other matter which may be prescribed. The time period within which the examiner makes this report and sends it back to the controller is 1 month, but not exceeding 2 months from the date on which the controller shared the documents with him. Coming to section 13, search for anticipation by previous publication or by prior claim. Read this section along with rule 24b. Now the examiner shall start investigating whether the patent application has been anticipated by publication before the date of filing of the applicant's complete specification, or is claimed in any claim of any other complete specification published on or after the date of filing of the applicant's complete specification, being a specification filed in pursuance of an application for a patent made in India and dated before or claiming the priority date earlier than that date. Now, it does happen that the patent applicant sometimes amends his patent application due to various reasons. So, where a complete specification is amended under the provisions of this act before the grant of patent, the amended specification shall be examined and investigated in the same manner as the original specification. Section 13(4) is important. The examination and investigations required under section 12 and this section in no way warranty the validity of any patent, and the central government will not be liable, or any officer of central government, in this connection, such as the examination or investigation or any report that has been prepared by the examiner. Let's see what section 14 has to say. Consideration of the report of examiner by controller. This section should be read along with rule 28. Now, where in respect of an application for a patent, the report of the examiner received by the controller is adverse to the applicant, that is, not in favor of the applicant, or requires any amendment of the application, the specification or documents related to it, the controller, before proceeding to dispose of the application in accordance with the provisions, shall communicate as expeditiously as possible the gist of the objections to the applicant, and if so required by the applicant within 1 month, give him an opportunity of being heard. Let's see the specific powers that the controller has. Section 15 mainly deals with the power of controller to refuse or require the applicant to amend the patent application to comply with the requirements of the Indian Patents Act 1970. Now, we saw in the previous section that based on the objections raised by the examiner in his report, an applicant is given an opportunity for hearing to clarify his stand or to clear his objections. However, even after the hearing, if the controller is not satisfied and feels that the patent application is not meeting the requirements of the Act and the rules, he can refuse the patent application upfront or will give an opportunity or a chance to the applicant to amend his patent specification. However, even after the amendment, if the controller is dissatisfied, he will refuse the patent application. However, if the patent application has been amended to his satisfaction, he will grant it. Coming to section 16, this is an important one because generally a question is expected from divisional application. In this section, we discuss the power that the controller has to make orders respecting division of a patent application. Now let's see in which scenarios is a divisional patent application filed. First, when the claims cover two or more inventions which are not tied to each other by a single inventive concept, that is, they are two separate inventions, then a divisional application is filed. This can be voluntarily filed by the applicant or can be a consequence to the objections raised by the examiner in first examination report. Scenario 2, sometimes divisionals are also filed as a part of IP strategy of a company to create a strong IP portfolio for future commercialization strategies. So anytime before the grant of the patent, an applicant can voluntarily file for a divisional application if he feels that his patent is covering more than one invention, or this can be in response to the objections that were raised by the examiner in his first examination report. Now let's take an example. The original patent application had 56 claims. The first 28 claims pertained to invention A, while the rest of them, that is 28 to 56, pertain to invention B. Now, the applicant voluntarily decides to file for a divisional patent application so that he can separate the two inventions. In the second or the divisional patent application, he includes only claims 29 to 56, that is, which cover invention B. Now, the divisional application will be called the child application, while the original one will be called the parent patent application. The child patent application will always derive priority from the parent application. Although the two patent applications, that is the parent and the child application, will have different set of claims, they will have the same description because once a description has been filed in the parent application, it cannot be changed in the child or the divisional patent application. You can refer to two examples to understand why divisionals are filed. First, ESCO Corporation versus Controller of Patents Designs, which includes 4702 Del NP 2005, and the child or the divisional application was 8094 Del NP 2008. Second case is Syngenta Limited versus Controller of Patents and Designs. Here, the parent patent application is 6114 Del NP 2005, while the child patent application is 7059 Del NP 2011. As per section 16.3, if the controller feels that the patent application claims need to be amended to ensure that parent and child do not have same claims. Coming to section 17, the power of controller to make orders respecting post-dating of patent application. So, 17.1, subject to the provisions of section 9, after the filing of patent application and before its grant, if the applicant requests the controller to cancel the provisional and treat non-provisional one as the provisional application, then he is basically requesting for post-dating of patent application. No application shall be post-dated to a date later than 6 months from the date of filing of provisional application. Section 17.2 basically tells us that in section 15, if the controller is not satisfied with the claims that have been disclosed in the complete specification and requires amendment of all of them, then the date on which the amended claims have been filed becomes the date of the patent application. That is, post-dating has happened in this case. Coming to section 18, powers of controller in cases of anticipation. To get more clarity on timelines, read this section along with rules 28, 29, 30 and 31. This is a pretty straightforward section. It says where it appears to the controller that the invention at hand has been anticipated in the manner referred to in clause A of subsection 1 or 2 of section 13, he may refuse the application unless the applicant either shows to him that the priority date of the claim of his complete specification is not later than the date on which the relevant document was published, or amends his complete specification to the satisfaction of the controller. 18.2 says that if it appears to the controller that the invention is claimed in a claim of any other complete specification, he may subject to the provisions that Section 18.2 says that if it appears to the controller that the invention at hand is claimed in a claim of any other complete specification, he may direct that a reference to that other specification be inserted by a way of notice to the public in the applicant's complete specification. Now, for this, please read Rules 28, 29, 30 and 31. It is clearly been mentioned how the reference is to be inserted and when it is to be inserted. Now, Section 18.3, if it appears to the controller as a result of an investigation under Section 13 or otherwise, that the invention as claimed in any claim of the applicant's complete specification has been claimed in any other complete specification, and that such other complete specification was published on or after the priority date of the applicant's claim, then unless it is shown to the controller's satisfaction that the priority date of the applicant's claim is not later than the priority date of the claim of that specification, the provisions shall apply in the same manner as they apply to a specification published on or after the date of filing of the applicant's complete specification. Coming to section 19, this should be read along with rules 29, 30 and 31. Now, powers of controller in cases of potential infringement. Now, the term potential infringement must be understood well. Here, the patent has not been granted yet and is pending before the controller. The controller feels that if I grant this patent application, its claims might infringe on someone else's granted patent. Section 19.1 says that if the controller feels that the working of the invention of the patent application at hand can infringe someone else's patent, he may direct that a reference to that other patent be inserted in the complete specification by way of notice to the public. How this reference is to be inserted can be found in Rule 33. However, if the applicant shows to the controller that there are reasonable grounds for contesting the validity of the said claim of the other patent, that is, the other patent is weak, and if someone files an opposition, the patent will be revoked, then there is no need to insert the reference to that patent. Alternatively, if the applicant feels that yes, my claims may amount to a potential infringement, then he will amend the specification by inserting the reference to the other patent. Section 19.2 discusses where the reference to other patent was added so as to avoid potential infringement of the other patent. However, due to 3 conditions, now the applicant wants the reference to be removed. First, that the other patent is revoked or otherwise ceases to be in force. Second, the specification of that other patent is amended by the deletion of the relevant claim. Or C, it is found in proceedings before the court or the controller that the relevant claim of that other patent is invalid or is not infringed by any working of the applicant's invention. Coming to section 20, now read it with Rule 34 and Form 6 applies here. Before we start discussing the subsections, what needs to be noted is the Indian Patent Act allows the substitution of applicants in 3 different scenarios. If an applicant dies before the grant of the patent, the controller may allow the application to proceed in the name of the surviving applicants. However, the request must include the following documents. First, proof of death of the joint applicant, consent from the legal representative of the deceased person, and a documentary evidence that the legal representative is the deceased applicant's legal representative. Second scenario is assignment or agreement. Now, no direction can be given based on an assignment or agreement made by one of the joint applicants without the consent of the other joint applicants. And third is dispute between the joint applicants. If a dispute arises between the joint applicants, then the controller can give directions on how to proceed with the application. This can include proceeding in the name of one or more of the parties alone, or regulating the manner in which it should be proceeded with. With this, we come to the end of this video. I hope you found all the information shared here useful. ahead and start understanding the differences between pre-grant and post-grant opposition from the free resource that has been shared on the website. The next video will be out on Tuesday, where we are going to discuss section 27 and 28. We will also be discussing the secrecy directions. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, please drop us a comment and we will come back to you within 24 hours. And for any other queries that you may have, please write to us at wslispprt2023@gmail.com and we will answer your questions. I will see you in the next video. Ahead.